Chillin' with Larry Megan.
Okay, believe it or not, we are chilling here with Larry Megan on a Thursday night. I must be running on fumes, Jonathan.
I warned Ronnie you might be a firecracker tonight when you get in here.
I'll tell you what, I was at the Shop NBC studio at 9 p.m. last night because I had to be there for a 10 p.m. show. We launched Today's Top Value there, and we did 2 hours with Tim. Then I stayed over for the third hour to do an extra presentation. Then I went to have some breakfast with Tim Temple, and then I had to be right back in the studio. I went from 3 to 5 a.m. with Katina, and then there was no point in coming home. I had to be
2 hour block with Katina.
Yeah, 3 to 5 a.m. 2 hours of Sterling Original, and then I had to be right back there at 7 a.m. So no point in coming home at 5 a.m.
Nope.
So I just went over to the hotel to get a cup of coffee at the Garden Inn and went
your
right
pain,
back to
man.
the studio. I mean, I was up literally all through the night. Then I hung around there again because I had to be there at 11 a.m. for a 12 p.m. and then a 1 p.m. And then after 2, I came home and maybe I caught 15 minutes or something, and then the doorbell rang, and it was the maintenance guy coming here to fix my we've got fire alarms in this place. And you know what happens when the battery gets low on those things? They start speaking to you.
Beeps.
No, it says low battery, and I mean, I'm jumping out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, and
Got a
it's,
swanky fire alarm.
I'm saying, who's in the apartment? And it's these fires. So anyway,
all the more advocacy for uppers, right?
For what?
For uppers. Right?
For modern medical science.
Absolutely.
You mean? Okay.
Well, whatever
yeah.
you want to call it.
So I went back there tonight. We finished out the rotation. It was a very nice rotation, one of our better ones in a long time for Sterling Original. And I want to thank anybody who's watching the show tonight who supported us there at Shop NBC. Really, my sincere thanks. We kind of needed a good shot in the arm here. And then, of course, I got off the air at 9, and there were new people in the green room. And you know me, Jonathan.
You are a new person talking horror. You have to go and meet everybody, shake hands, kiss the baby. You're a politician when it comes to that
I'll tell you
green
what,
room.
man. But I like meeting new people. There's a guy there from Switzerland. We're going to have coffee
cool.
on Saturday. He
All
lives
right.
right near Basel, so you can never have too many friends in Switzerland.
You need to take me to Basel for next watch show, or I need to talk Mike into doing it.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun, man. I'll tell you. When you go to Switzerland, the one thing you got to remember is make sure you take about $3 million because it's so expensive.
I'll start my piggy bank. Right
I mean,
now.
if you just order a Coke,
yeah,
it's like $6.
Oh, you know what? I can stay here. I'm fine. I'm good.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, the guy and the girl that I met, boyfriend, girlfriend, they're there with a new watch brand. He took her to the Mall of America here today, shopping, and she bought a whole bunch of stuff, but she said it was like everything was free.
Oh my gosh.
She said stuff like makeup that she buys in Switzerland cost with Swiss francs like $100 American.
Yeah.
Here is like $30.
Jeez.
It felt like she was shopping for free. She came out with all these bags. Anyway, it's crazy, but
I need to get a job over there. That's my next
I was
goal.
asking her, how do people do it? She said everyone's paid more.
Of course.
They're paid like triple the money. Maybe that's where we should be doing our next.
we're
Maybe we'll
gonna
do
do
our
it.
next webcast. We should start webcasting from Switzerland.
I'm down.
Or let's get a remote, like a correspondent from Switzerland. And let's start a new Switzerland.
Let's be our own correspondent in Switzerland. They can.
I know,
come
but
here
it can
and run
start. But it can start by let's get someone who's already over
Go
there.
bold or go home, man. Let's go there now.
All
Let's
right,
do
all
this.
right.
Get on the plane.
Well, listen, man. This is the first time since we've been doing the Chillin' with Larry Megan here from Minnesota at the Acorn Studios. That we've been discussing, of course, the X Factor, and this is the first time that I didn't really see the
results show.
the elimination show
Yeah.
before we came on the air because I was at Shop NBC, and of course, Jonathan, you did inform me. Why don't you tell us, since you were here, you watched it, what happened tonight?
Well, tonight, as you know, we're down to the final 7. And 2 are going to be kicked off this week. So they kind of started going through the elimination of people who immediately got to go through for the previous week, or for this week, rather. And it came down to the last 3, which were Marcus Canty, Drew, and then, who was the third? Marcus Canty, Drew, and then Astro. Well, Astro was sent home due to the lowest vote. So they didn't even get a chance to get a sing-off for him.
That must have been shocking.
It was but he handled it well. Like surprisingly, from the particular one where he kind of acted like a child. I mean, he is 15 years old, but acted like a child about, should I even rap? Should I even do this? Right, a couple of weeks ago,
right.
He handled it much more like a professional tonight. Okay. But however, when it came down to the final two performances between Marcus Canty and Drew, Paula Abdul asked, what she needed to kind of what she needed in order to be blown away, to make her decision was she wanted him to kill it, in her words. And truthfully, Marcus killed it in Marcus's way, I suppose. And Drew, she was kind of a hot mess, but even before then. So she, was kind of extremely emotional. Again, she's 14 years old, so it makes sense. This is a huge dream of hers. However, I didn't tell you this on the call in my show, Larry. At the very end of the show, she, who is the stinking host? Why can't I remember his name? Steve Jones. Thank you, Steve Jones, because it's too simple. That's the problem, Ronnie. It's too simple of a name. It should be something difficult, like Ryan Seacrest. Steve Jones said, "Is there anything else you want to say, Drew, for your last little thing?" She says, "Yes, Jesus loves you, everybody. That's the whole reason I came on this show." And then, blackout. It was, crazy. I'm like, wow, all right. Cool, good for you. You got a great platform for it, and you stepped up. But it was really kind of weird for it to kind of come down to that at the last moment, to be, Jesus loves you, and that's why I came on the show. All right. So
I'm going to say this right now. Listen, I got to say, after watching the show last night, I was entirely fed up with Drew.
Okay.
I was fed up with, the fact that she just refused to speed it up week after week. She was told by L.A. Reid, she was told by Nicole, you're doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Give us something different. Mm-hmm. And Simon just kept, saying, this is the kind of record she's going to make. This is what she is. And I was really fed up with it, just like the other judges were.
Yeah.
So I was kind of done with her. But when you told me it came down to a sing-off between her and Marcus Canty, I'll tell you what, I'm shocked that they sent Drew home. Even though I was tired of her, the fact is, her vocals, she really is a tremendous singer. Marcus is inconsistent at best.
Well, and even in his performance tonight in the sing-off, he was a bit pitchy in some of his stuff. And, and Drew kind of tried to make it somewhat of a performance. She kind of walked around the judges on that little ramp behind them. So she tried to make it somewhat of a performance in that regard. And even L.A. commented that. He's like, I really like the walk around. Because nobody in their sing-off, in their Save the Sale kind of sing-off, has done that. They've all stood there forlorn. And the funny thing is, and I didn't tell you this on the call either, not Drew, but Marcus Canty's, the song he sang literally was, it's... I don't want to say it's so hard to say goodbye, but, it was basically a farewell song.
Never sing a farewell song when you're singing for your life.
That's it. And he sang a farewell song, and it was, I was like, oh, well, and, we've talked before about how I feel how strongly scripted this is, and it was one of those things that, that song to me, I was like, oh, well, then Marcus is going home the way he sang the song. But, the way Drew kind of started losing her stuff way early, I was like, oh, wait a minute, maybe it is Drew. So,
yeah. Well, real quickly, to recap this week, my thoughts real quickly. It was Michael Jackson week.
Oh,
it was
awesome.
A tribute to Michael Jackson. I love the fact that they had Tito and Jackie there.
Yeah.
Marlon, I could care less, really. But, Jackie's the oldest brother. Tito's the second oldest. And I happen to know both of them personally. I played basketball with Jackie in high school. Yeah.
That's awesome.
If I see Jackie, he would recognize me, of course. And I'd say, hey, Jackie, how you doing? He'd probably be hard-pressed to remember my name. But Tito absolutely would remember my name because Tito, I was very, very close with Tito's ex-wife, who's now passed away. That was Dee Dee Jackson. We were on the fundraising. We were the co-chairs of the fundraising committee for Encino Baseball.
Okay.
Back in 1986, 87, we raised a lot of money.
Is that the softball thing you were doing?
No, that was Little League Baseball in Los Angeles, and Tito actually donated his gold record for "We Are the World." Only the people who performed in it got those.
Yeah.
And he donated that for the auction, and we raised in one night $125,000.
That's crazy.
Dee Dee was absolutely amazing, and of course my vice chair of entertainment was Jack Gilardi, and I know Jack is still alive and kicking out there. And we would have the meetings literally in Tito's house, and we'd be in the kitchen we'd be in the kitchen, and me and Dee Dee and Jack and Tito would come down the stairs and say, Dee Dee, it's 12 o'clock, it's midnight, come on, come up to bed, you know. But Tito was always a good sport. He was always in it for the right reasons. He was involved for the kids. He loved baseball. He loved teaching the kids. He loved going out there coaching the kids, hitting the ball with the kids. And I have nothing but tremendous admiration for Tito Jackson. And they didn't even let him speak last night. Did you notice that?
Yeah, they let the other two speak. It was interesting.
So it was great to see them. And the mother, what a saint.
Yeah. Yeah.
This Catherine Jackson is, my goodness gracious. I mean,
she was definitely Mother Teresa-esque.
No question about it. So I thought that was really, really cool. But again, on Michael Jackson week, going over the performances, not in any particular order, I was disappointed by Rachel Crow again. They're not giving her the kind of song. Simon's screwing this up now. Simon is to blame. I'm hearing what you're telling me.
Yep.
I can't wait to watch the replay. But for Drew being gone, come on, sitting in that chair was ridiculous. You know, you're talking about a $5 million contract, and he's going to tell her sit in the chair.
You know, but I mean, like I said on my show, you know, you're only Adam. Few performers can get away with sitting in a chair and performing a song, and like Adam Lambert from American Idol a couple of seasons ago. I mean, he can get away with doing that. I mean, he just had this, and he even got up out of the chair. I mean, he did stand up to finish the song, you know. And unfortunately, Drew didn't have that opportunity. And the other thing was, it was kind of the camera angle was at an awkward angle last night, whereas like. And I mean, I'm all for, you know, for the ladies, young ladies, knees together, ankles crossed type things. And she kind of had a little misstep there. But, you know, I mean, if she had even slightly released the knees, it would have been an awkward shot of the camera because it was just right there at crotch level. So, I mean,
they didn't need to have her in the chair
they
at
didn't.
all.
You're right. They didn't.
I think that's a terrible mistake. Going over the performances quickly, I thought Josh, for the first time since I've seen him on this show, I didn't think he was good, honestly.
Yeah.
He was not good last night, and I even feared that maybe he might even be in trouble, although, let's face it, he's the most talented, one of the two most talented.
Yeah.
He's built up enough bank points that he shouldn't have to worry about one subpar performance, but Josh was not good.
No.
Then, you know, not in any particular order, I thought Rachel was a disappointment. Then we had Astro with Black and White. Actually, you know, I don't know if I thought he was okay or I just like that song. You know,
I love that song.
I love that song too.
And that's what I was the same way too. I was like, I'm not know if I'm liking the rap. I don't know if I'm liking the production. I think I like the production. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just a hot song. I would have thought Astro was in trouble.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to give a little bit of props to Chris Renee. I mean, okay, he's clearly not a great singer. I get it. But you know what? He can carry a tune a little bit, and he tries to sing.
Yeah.
I give Chris a little bit of props for last night. Then what do we have? Marcus Canty.
Yep.
I don't know, man. You know, with the whole pretty young thing, I could think of probably 10 other Michael Jackson songs, or at least 5 other that I would have liked to see him do, besides some kind of a disco number. You know, didn't work for me. So, you know, I'm trying to think, what clips am I going to show tonight? We got to show a clip. So to me, I thought the best performance of the night, I hope you agree, I thought was Melanie.
Oh, hands down.
You agree?
That you know, L.A. Reid afterwards, as soon as the song finished and he was given his 2 cents, you know, he's like, you know, Melanie, for a moment, I forgot this was a competition and I thought I was at a Melanie Amaro concert. And it's true. That girl put it on the stage. And after she really kind of lost her stuff last week and really came out and kind of shared.
You said she turned a corner. I agree with you.
She really came out. And that her performance last night was exemplary. Like, I was just emotionally invested in what she was doing. So.
All right, well, let's check it out. This is Melanie Amaro last night on Michael Jackson night at X Factor. Jonathan and I concurred, the best performance of the night.
Here's the final singer tonight. It's one of the girls, Simon Cowell.
Thank you. Representing Florida, you've heard the expression, you save the best for last. Here comes Melanie Amaro. It was interesting last week because out of nowhere, Melanie came out with this new accent none of us knew she had.
Being back and forth from the Virgin Islands to here, never getting to see my mother, my father all the time. I know I had accent. This is really Melanie. This is me. This is Melanie.
When I first came to America, my accent, it was so very, very strong that people, when I speak to them, they used to make fun of me. So I had to learn to cover it. I felt like I was outcasted. I felt like everybody pushed me to the side. Like, I can't understand the way she speaks, you know.
I've dreamed of this moment all my life.
Once I started to speak in my normal accent, I feel like a burden was lifted. It just came out. It just happened.
I'm sorry. You know, I was actually really happy for Melanie because she's got the freedom now to be what she is, which is an amazing, amazing singer. And because of that, I have given her one of Michael Jackson's biggest hits, but it's one normally you just do not touch.
To be able to perform his stuff in front of a lot of people, Michael Jackson, amazing. I feel so honored.
I don't want you to be good, I want you to be incredible. This is a big, big deal for her. It could go wrong, but you know, that's what it's all about. You've got to take big risks sometimes.
Melanie Amaro.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain? What about killing fears? Is there a time? What about all the things that you said was yours and mine? Did you ever stop to notice all the blood we've shed before? Did you ever stop to notice this crying earth, these weeping shores? Oh, yeah, yeah. I used to dream, I used to glance beyond the stars. Now I don't know where we are, although I know we drifted far. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on and sing. What about after me? I need you. What about nature's words? It's our planet's warm. What about the children dying and sunshine? What about it? Yeah. What about humanity? It's our time to win.
Melanie.
Well, you know, the judges' comments were basically all raves that it was the best performance of the night, and it was I think you said that L.A. Reid said he felt like
He was at a concert. Yeah, he's like, I forgot for a moment that it was a competition,
You
and
know.
I thought you were at a Melanie Amaro concert.
it did feel like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, you said it last week, Jonathan, that you felt like she really turned a corner with her coming out with the Virgin Islands accent and everything. And, you know, so for me, like I said, there was some moderately improved performances this week. But out of 7, one really standout memorable performance by Melanie, and that's pretty much it on Michael Jackson week. So I got to thinking, since I've been watching this show, even though last night everybody sang a Michael Jackson song, this wasn't the only Michael Jackson songs that we've seen on this show. And I started thinking about it. And to me, even though Melanie was tremendous, I'm going to say maybe not the best, but my favorite Michael Jackson song that I've seen on X Factor this season was, I've got a little surprise here. She's no longer in the show, but do you remember Tora?
I don't.
All right. Well, here was Tora Woloshyn's audition, and she sang, I Want You Back, or Give Me One More Chance, or something. It was from the Jackson 5, the early days of Jackson 5, you know. So I thought, and I totally disagree with Simon cutting Tora, and he did cut her. She got to the judge's house, and of course he kept Tia Tolliver, and he kept Simone Battle, and he cut poor Tora, and I think Tora should have still been in the show. But anyway, to me, this was the Michael Jackson performance of the X Factor season at the audition level. Let's check it out, Tora Woloshin. Well, a little tribute to the departed Tora Woloshin. And, Jonathan, watching that back, I loaded it today. I didn't have time to watch it because I remember it so well. But it kind of reminds me a couple of points. One, when I first started watching the X Factor during the audition stages, sure, there were some, cornball acts that were no good. But when you had the good ones like that, this show showed a lot of promise to me. And I think the big difference in looking back, they just came up there, no production, not all the singing and dancing and smoke and mirrors and all that stuff.
20 backup singers.
And 20 backup singers, and they just laid it on the line. Yeah. And it seemed like a talent competition right then, and it showed a lot of promise. Where I think it got off track is once they got to the top 17, they came to the big stage, and all of a sudden everything changed, and it wasn't for the better. The other thing that I see when you watch the judges' comments there, this was before they actually had assigned Simon to the girls and L.A. to the boys, and you didn't have that backbiting going on between the judges. They were just there to all be on the same team and judge the talent, and it was much more of a pure form. This syncing the judges to the contestants, I'm not a fan.
That you bring up a good point, because as we watched that, Tora, she's at top 5 level right now. Like, her performance, just even that in that audition was on par with what those guys did last night. And to the point that you make, now that now once the judges now took possession, if you will, of their performers, then it became a backstabbing, let me tear down the other judges to kind of get the ratings in a way. And it is overproduced. I mean, last week, I think it was last week or maybe even last night, Simon made a comment about how I was like, wow, this is just so overproduced. The whole frickin' show's overproduced, Simon, and it's all about you and your lack of chest hair and your low cut. Nothing against them. Like every shot he's got is like he's got down to his belly button, so you can see that the fact that he's got a sunburned chest. Great, good job. You stayed in the bed too long.
Yeah, it's taken the focus, off the contestants, put it on the judges, and it's you see the audition level. It's the show. I was so excited about it, and it's really
it lost. You're right. Because I did see some of the audition shows, and thought, all right, this could be on par with like an American Idol type show. But then once it became a no holds barred for promoting their own performers, then it lost the actual competition.
Not only promoting their own performers with over exaggerating the talent level that we're seeing, but they're being even nice to in many cases, not every time, but many times they're being nice to the other judges so that they'll be nice to theirs. It's like Simon,
it's a popularity contest.
Whatever. But anyway, on Michael Jackson week, I thought we'd throw Tora Woloshin a bone, because I don't think Simon should have ever cut her.
You're right. She definitely would. She, with that performance, could keep up with last night's performances.
Definitely. Well, that'll do it for the X Factor. We're down to the final 5, and now the home stretch is kind of light at the end of the tunnel is in sight now.
Thank God.
Yeah, all right. But listen, by the way, before we go to the next segment of the show, if you're out there watching, you're new to the program here, please, if you haven't followed us already on Facebook with our Facebook page, click the Facebook button and like us on Facebook. Click the Twitter button, follow us on Twitter. Share this video in the lower right-hand corner. You can see the share button. Click it, share it on your Facebook page. Help us spread the word. That's what we're all about here, and we'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, for tonight in the Classic Film Zone, and before we go to that, one more thing. Anybody out there wants to call in, give us a call, man. Let's get a little interactive. Next week, I definitely will have a call-in guest. And by the way, in about 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tonight, December 15th, we're going to have a special guest, Wing Liang from Android.
Excellent.
He's going to come in here. He's going to be getting off the air, I think, at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at Shop NBC. He's going to come in here, and we're going to take lots of calls from those Android customers out there and fans, and we're going to talk to Wing for a while, and we're going to get him in here. So
Very cool.
I'm excited about that. And I've got another couple other guests that I'm working on right now that could be pretty exciting. One of them is a wine professional of wine tasting.
I will hold the wine off camera as you guys talk about it.
That's going to be fun.
I'll hold it in my belly.
His name is Weston. We just have to set up a date, and he's connected to a major winery in Italy.
Nice. Oh, very nice.
He worked over there for a couple of years, and I spent a little bit of the Thanksgiving weekend out at his mom's farmhouse in Taylor's Falls, and that was a lot of fun. And he was cracking open all these bottles, teaching me about wine. I really am not much of a wino. And anyway, he said, this is a vintage this vintage is 1850.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And I said, man, that doesn't sound that much. That sounds pretty cheap. And he said, no, not $18.50, the year 1850. And he's cracking it open like it's nothing,
like it's a Coke can.
Yeah, it was something. But he's agreed to come on and do a show. He lives in St. Paul.
Very cool.
And he's going to come out here. He's going to bring some wines, and we're going to be tasting them right here. So anyway, that's going to be fun. But for tonight in our Classic Film Zone, I thought that I would feature Frank Sinatra, Gene Kelly, two of my favorites. So it was actually a post on, I think it was on our Acorn TV page by one of the fans of Acorn TV's page, saying that she really liked Anchors Aweigh. Sorry, I can't remember her name. I'll try to find that. But I thought, all right, I've got them. I've got Anchors Aweigh and On the Town and Take Me Out to the Ball Game with Frank Sinatra and Gene Kelly. Let's go with Anchors Aweigh. So let's go to the Classic Film Zone. Well, tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about Anchors Aweigh. And Jonathan, first off, do you know anything about this movie? Have you ever seen it?
The one scene that I am familiar with is the Gene Kelly, Jerry and the Mouse.
Okay.
That dance, that pas de deux in the correct terms.
Okay.
Outside of that, I'm ashamed to say that I don't know anything else.
Well, listen, I know you love Donald O'Connor, and I know you love Singing in the Rain.
I do.
I've got I had to try and pick which spots in the movie we're going to feature. But first of all, this movie was made in 1945. It is an MGM musical. It was the first of three musicals teaming up the legendary duo of Frank Sinatra, and we have a picture of him here on the phone. You'll see this in a moment here. Now, there it is over in Player 2 in the far right corner. Oh, there it is. Thank you. But that's Sinatra on the phone. Well, here's what it is. These are sailors.
Right.
And they are taking a 4-day leave from their ship in California.
Okay.
In San Diego, actually. And Sinatra and Gene Kelly, they play these two sailors who actually got awards. And what it is Gene Kelly saved Frank Sinatra's life. Okay. And so they got a Medal of Honor and they got an award. And, Gene Kelly, it's kind of almost contrary to their real life roles in the sense of Sinatra plays a very shy young sailor. And of course, Frank Sinatra is anything
But shy.
right, exactly.
He can't even spell shy.
He can't even spell shy. That's pretty funny. But anyway, he's the shy one. Gene Kelly is kind of the wolf that is,
Wow,
yeah,
really?
that gets all the girls and everything. And so when they go on this leave for 4 days, they figure, they're going to go to Hollywood in L.A. from San Diego. Here they are together, and unbeknownst to Gene Kelly, Sinatra's kind of tailing him and following him because he wants to learn how to get the girls and that kind of thing. And they go, they're on the town. Of course, Gene Kelly spots them, and they're Gene's gonna go meet his girl. But before they can do that, and Gene agrees to have him come along, a policeman picks them up because this policeman had found a young boy. And the boy was probably like 9 or 10 years old or something like that. And he was wearing a sailor outfit, and he wanted to, I guess, run away from home and enlist with the Navy.
Okay.
And the kid would not tell the cop where he lives and all that kind of stuff. So the cop figures, oh, here's a couple of sailors. The kid will talk to these sailors. So he grabs Sinatra, and the cop grabs Sinatra and Kelly and, brings them in. Frank Sinatra plays Clarence Doolittle, and Gene Kelly plays Joe Brady. And here they are in a nice shot here. You see him in this dance number. But what are you doing to us? Where are you taking us? What did we do? And he takes him into the station where the kid is, and to get the kid to talk to him. And the kid sees these two sailors, and he starts talking to them.
Nice.
Because he wants to be in the Navy.
Of course he does.
Okay. And so, the cop with the two sailors forces the sailors to take the kid home. And, of course, they go home, and the kid says, well, Aunt Susie's out. She's not home. So now they have to, and the cop says, I have a date. And he leaves the two sailors with the kid. And they have to sit there and wait for Aunt Susie. And, of course, Gene Kelly's fuming, as Joe Brady, because he's got a girl he's supposed to go meet.
In every port.
And he's stuck with a kid. And then Aunt Susie comes home, and it's Katherine Grayson, one of the great movie actresses really of all time. She's a beautiful lady, and she's a kind of opera style of singer, too.
Okay.
She sings in this movie.
More classical, okay.
And anyway, so they tuck the kid in, and and of course Frank Sinatra is completely smitten with Aunt Susie, and he wants her really bad. And all Joe can think about is Lola that he's supposed to go meet. So Gene Kelly, as Sailor Joe Brady, he agrees to, all right, I'll try to help you get Aunt Susie, okay? Mm-hmm. But now they got to go find a place to sleep because it's now late. He's missed his opportunity to see Lola. They got to go. So they go to a place where sailors are allowed to go, I guess, and sleep when they're on leave. And this is the number we're going to see here. It's called I Begged Her. And as far as the this song, I mean, this picture, by the way, did win, or not win, but it did win for Best Musical Score, absolutely. But it also was nominated for, several Academy Awards. It won the Academy Awards Original Music Score. And it was nominated for Best Actor, Gene Kelly, nominated for Best Cinematography, nominated for Best Song, I Fall in Love Too Easily, and it was sung by Frank Sinatra. But this one here is I Begged Her, and I think this is a number, Jonathan, that you will really enjoy because I know you like dancing.
I do love me some dancing.
And here it is.
Do we have any
Sinatra and Gene Kelly.
Is there tap? Oh, a little bit tap.
Couple empties down there, fellas.
Thanks, pal.
First night's leave for you guys?
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk?
Sure, but we got in a little trouble. We picked up a little kid. Yeah, and one little kid that was. Oh, what another little kid she had waiting for us when we got home. Such trouble we should run into every night of our life, huh?
Hiya, Joe.
Hiya, Pittsburgh. How are you? Oh, boy, what a town this is.
How do you like that? I walk my feet off all night and end up with a glass of beer.
You don't live right. Oh, never in all my life have I seen such dames. Fish blonde. Not that there was anything wrong with that redhead of yours, huh, Brooklyn?
Oh, no. She was rather interesting.
Oh, interesting. You should have seen the kid work. Well, I'll tell you, we took the dames home. You took them home? A little slow at first, a little slow. Straight. I asked my girl for a kiss. Well, she said no.
Well, who won you
the
the
details?
dance?
What happened? Well, I'll tell you.
I begged her.
That's the way he started.
I pleaded.
You should have seen this boy.
I told her, baby, come out of your shell. I told her, maybe you'll find that it's swell.
What technique.
I argued.
I never saw such a stubborn dame in my whole life.
I threatened.
And he's got muscles, too.
I said, you can't send me home, not like this. And I finally got that kiss.
Tell him, Brooklyn. Tell him how it happened.
She begged me.
True.
She pleaded.
Got down on her bended knee to him.
She told me, baby, come out of your shell.
Oh, this boy was sensational.
She told me, maybe you'll find that it's swell.
Tell him all, Brooklyn.
I'm telling him.
She argued.
What like a wild cat?
She threatened.
Practically threw a gun on the boy.
She said, you can't send me home, not like this.
What happened?
She finally got her kiss.
Give him the floor, boys. What a time we had tonight. What a dish, what a dream, what a dame. And she lives alone.
You know, I love that number. I love that scene. From what I was able to, read up on that was that Gene Kelly worked with Sinatra over and over. He made him do it over and over and over and over, and drove Sinatra crazy. And of course, as you know, when Sinatra got a little bit older, he was like the king of one takes. He did. He would, just do one take and that's it. Take it or leave it. But that was a young Sinatra right there in 1945, and of course Gene Kelly was the master.
Well, Gene Kelly alone, I mean, and you can see it in the dance too. And he's so just effortless. It's like walking and breathing for him, and he just, so I can see, I would, if I were Frank Sinatra in that scenario and I was about to dance with Gene Kelly, or even Fred Astaire for that matter, I would want to make sure that every slight moment was choreographed to the best of my ability, so I didn't look like a fool up against Gene Kelly.
Well, I thought Sinatra actually did really
well.
He did do
there,
well, but when you know the backstory, he probably made him do it 100 times.
At least 100.
Because we heard the stories about Gene Kelly with Debbie Reynolds in Singing in the Rain, and of course that was about 6 years after this.
Yeah.
But I guess Gene Kelly was quite the taskmaster.
I can imagine.
But anyway, the young Sinatra voice. I mean, Sinatra's voice to me sounds great when he's older, younger. But that young, pure voice of Sinatra, I don't know, man. It does it does it for me.
The whiskeys and cigarettes haven't affected it yet, so it's nice and pure.
Okay. I like the older one too.
Hey, I mean, don't get me wrong. Whiskey and cigarettes, and wild, wild women.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to make this too long, and we're already getting late, and it doesn't look like we have a huge audience out there tonight.
But the audience that is there is important, and thank you for being here.
Without a doubt. But what happens a little bit later, they go back to Susie's place, and Gene Kelly is trying his best to hook up his pal Frank Sinatra, Clarence, with Susie, and so he's kind of building it up. And Sinatra's so shy, as Clarence Doolittle, he won't even speak for himself. And so finally, that's Katherine Grayson right there. And finally, he sets her up on the date, and this isn't the date itself. This is the setup of the date. And, of course, out of it comes a song called If You Knew Susie, and it's the two guys kind of making it up as they go along. But check it out. Another, I think, classic moment in American film history, in my opinion, If You Knew Susie, with Sinatra and Gene Kelly. So here it is. Check it out.
Clarence, do you want to take me out? Is that what all this is leading up to?
She's a girl with a heart, I said.
Well, I'd love to.
Honest?
Mm-hmm. I wish I could make it tonight, but I'm busy.
Boyfriend?
Oh, no, just someone I met at the studio. He should be here now, and so I really have to run up and dress.
But you did mean what you said about my calling you.
Well, of course. Any night that you're free, you just give me a ring. Goodbye, and thank you again for it, Donald.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You know, at that, she's not so bad. Gee, I'm glad you like her. I didn't say I liked her. I said she wasn't bad. Yeah, but coming from you. Well, I guess if Aunt Susie likes him, he must be okay. Gee, that's a nice car, isn't it?
Hey, what's the matter with you? Aren't you even worried? Listen, once she goes out with that guy, she'll turn up her nose at any place that that you could take her to. Look, this means nothing to me. I'm telling you for your own good. Once she goes out with him, brother, you're dead.
Gee, you think so, Joe?
Sure.
There isn't anything I can do about it.
Brooklyn, there's always something you can do about everything. Come on.
Did you want to see Miss Abbott? She's upstairs dressing. I'll call her.
Oh, I wouldn't do that, Bud. Susie hates to be bothered when she's dressing.
Yeah, she hates it.
Something wrong, Jack?
Oh, no. Nothing at all.
Well, then squat someplace, Jack. You're making me nervous.
My name is Bertram Kraler.
Bertram?
Are you, good friends of Miss Abbott's?
Oh, you might call it that.
Are you?
I just met her. I'm taking her to dinner.
Maybe you know what you're doing, Bertram, but, I don't think the boys will like it.
I beg your pardon? The boys?
The Navy. I don't think they're going to like Susie branching out this way.
But I don't quite, Miss Abbott knows a great many Navy men?
Maybe some she doesn't know. Say a dozen or two, maybe. It's a funny thing. You get on board a new ship, don't know a soul. Kind of lonesome, even. Then a chow, somebody says, Anybody seen Susie lately? And right away, everybody's talking about her. You know, it's kind of homey, if you see what I mean.
Yes, I do. But, well, she seems such a quiet girl.
Susie? Quiet? Well, that's not what the song says. When the boys sing about her, they never even mention the word quiet.
They sing about her? The Navy's got a song about her?
Sure. I don't believe it. Well, okay.
All right. Let me hear it.
Well, I don't think you'd better, Bertram. It's a strictly for sailors song.
Yeah, it's not your type of a song.
I insist on hearing it.
All right, Brooklyn, if the man insists, let's play
Joe,
it.
I don't think we ought to.
Go ahead, play that Susie song.
Well, you start and I'll find you a key.
If you knew Susie like we know Susie, oh, what a gal. She's not so choosy, no, not our Susie. Oh,
Susie is a lollapaloozy.
when Susie kisses, it never fails. When Susie kisses, she takes the wind right out of your sails. So in conclusion,
beware of Susan.
Oh, what a gal. S is for sincerity, which she's got none of.
U is for, you know what I mean.
S is for
sincerity,
which she's got none of. I is for the Irish in her smile. Her Irish smile.
E is for her eagerness to please us.
That is how she won her Navy E. Put them all together, they spell Susie, the sweetheart of the boys at sea.
Oh, that's Susie, she's a doozy.
She's not choosy,
You won't losey,
don't care who'sy.
I mean usey.
You'll get woozy after just one date with Susie.
When you take her home about 10, another gobber's waiting there to take our Susie out again.
So in conclusion,
beware of Susie.
She belongs to you and me and the U.S. Navy.
S, S-U, S-U, S, S-U-S-I, S-U-S-I-E.
Well.
Well, I don't know what's the matter with him. Do you, Brooklyn?
Yes, and I wish I didn't.
Will you please tell Miss Abbott that Mr. Kraler regrets...
Regrets what? What on earth is the matter? What are you two doing here? Mr. Kraler regrets what?
I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. Knowing your taste as I do now, I'm sure the kind of evening I'd planned wouldn't interest you. S-U-S-S-U... Oh.
But, Mr. Kraler, What did you say to him?
You know, it doesn't play today. You were talking about the first clip, how all the guys cleared out of the way for them to dance. You know, Jonathan, when you watch a musical, you do have to suspend reality.
I know. One of my favorite musical movies is Moulin Rouge, and that one, talk about suspension of disbelief. From the moment one, you kind of have to do it. But I get it.
But anyway, I think that's hysterical.
That was a great number. That was a
if
fun
you
scene.
Knew, they made her out to be a total slut.
Clearly,
a tramp and everything. But what comes out afterwards is he was a guy who could. She wasn't interested in him romantically. He was someone who could introduce her to a big orchestra leader, and she wants to sing professionally. And then Sinatra, as Joe Brady, makes up this. So Susie starts crying because he left, and so Sinatra makes up this whole. Gene Kelly, this whole lie about Clarence knows Hosea Turby, and of course back in the 40s, Hosea Turby was like this big orchestra leader, huge name, and he appears in this movie. He worked, for MGM and everything, and so she says, "You'll set me up with a turby?" Yeah, make it. So I mean, it's just all BS.
Yeah.
But that's Joe Brady.
Right.
And so they go on this whole mission to try to set her up with a turby, and of course he can't do it. It doesn't work out. In the end, it actually does work out, but just by luck. But what comes up next is Joe Brady, the Gene Kelly character. He goes to find Susie in her school. She's a teacher in the school, and she's not in her classroom. And but the kid is the little kid that loves these two sailors, and especially Joe. And by the way, what ends up happening is Gene Kelly ends up with Katherine Grayson, and Frank Sinatra meets another, like a waitress from Brooklyn.
Hey, Brooklyn.
And so the two Brooklyn, they
Nice.
love, but so it's kind of a happy ending as all musicals.
Cool.
That I like.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but the ones I like. So, come on, what can I say?
It's all right, man. The ones that I like don't end up happy.
That's okay. I'm a glass half full. You're, the other way, I guess.
Shatter the glass.
Okay. So anyway, he goes to the school and Susie's not there, but the kid is there with his classmates.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Come on, Joe, tell us how you won your medal," And this is the number that really is an iconic number. I mean, I did a little bit of research on the internet. One thing was the 50 greatest special effects in movie history. And from the 1940s, there were only 2.
Wow.
And this was one of them. This was truly, and I mean really, truly, a great American moment in film history to see Gene Kelly dancing with an animated cartoon.
Yeah.
Now, we think of this nowadays, and of course,
Not a big deal.
It's nothing nowadays with,
They make whole movies out of
right,
Yeah.
with CGI and
Yep.
everything. But in 1945, I mean, stop and think about it. That's only 18 years after Talkies started. You're looking at this, the whole musical film and everything, and then to do a cartoon and have him interact. And of course, Stanley Donen, he blocked out the cinematography. I mean, not the cinematography, but the whole dance sequence.
Right.
Gene Kelly's partner. They worked together with the two famous animators, Hanna-Barbera. They used Jerry Mouse and Tom Cat from Tom and Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the original concept was Gene Kelly's vision for this sequence. It was his idea, because Gene Kelly was always looking to break new ground with dancing. Gene Kelly was on the, let's promote dancing wagon train. Then he blazed trails like nobody, and he wanted to do an animated sequence. And his vision was to do it with Mickey Mouse. He wanted Mickey Mouse. So Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly set up an appointment, and they went to meet with Walt Disney. And they laid out their concept that they wanted to do a dance sequence with Mickey Mouse and Gene Kelly. And there's 2 sources on this. One of them, I forgot who wrote the book, says that Walt Disney actually agreed to it, and it was his brother Roy Disney that said, "Wait a minute, we're on the verge of bankruptcy here. We have no time to focus our efforts to put Mickey Mouse in an MGM movie. Okay, that's not what we're all about." But Stanley Donen by the way, what I have is this, collector's set of all 3 of these movies with Gene Kelly and Frank Sinatra, but you can buy them individually. And on the Anchors Aweigh DVD, if you go to the special features, there is an interview not only with Hanna-Barbera, but there's an interview with Stanley Donen. And Stanley Donen tells it that it was Walt Disney, and of course he was there.
Of course.
But he says it was Walt Disney that said, "No, Mickey Mouse will never appear in an MGM movie. Mickey Mouse will appear in Disney movies, but not MGM." So what they did at that point is they turned to their own in-house animation department. At MGM was Hanna-Barbera. And, we think of Tom and Jerry today, as something kind of current or from the 70s or 80s or 90s.
Right.
But Tom and Jerry first appeared in about 1940.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew he was in the film, but I didn't realize he was in the 40s.
So they went with Jerry Mouse rather than Mickey Mouse. And again, this is absolutely groundbreaking. And even by today's standards, with all the digital and CGI and everything else, watch this.
It's impressive.
It's damn good, Jonathan. I mean, it
Absolutely.
really is. Just an iconic number in American film history right here. The name of the song is "The King Who Couldn't Dance," or also known as the sorrow song, the worry song. Sorry, thank you. The worry song. It's Gene Kelly and Jerry Mouse, and I've left in the play up to it, so here it is.
Go to the studio. Listen, Joe. I told the kids you'd tell us all about your adventures. Oh, tell us a story.
All right. Sit down.
Tell us how you got your medal.
All right, I'll tell you how I got my medal. Now close your eyes and try to imagine the most beautiful day you've ever seen. The greenest grass and the singingest birds and the shiningest sun. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Good. Now try to imagine me there, walking along, playing a little tin whistle, just as happy as can be. Do you see me?
Yeah.
Good. Of course, I was in the Pomeranian Navy then, and we wore white suits with blue stripes and a white hat with a little red ball on top. Oh, I was so happy that I ran and jumped and leaped and played, just for the fun of it. My, I felt good. Oh, it was such a wonderful, wonderful day. When all of a sudden I stepped into a big hole and fell right to the bottom of it. I seemed to be in a long tunnel. Way ahead I could see light, so I started towards it. Finally, I reached the end and found myself in a strange land. It looked just like a page out of a storybook. And everything was hushed and still. Like your room at night after you've gone to sleep. No music. I can't sing if I want to. Can I dance?
It's a law, it's a law, it's a law!
It's a terrible law. I'll sing and dance whenever I will. No law on earth can keep me still.
Young man, there is such a law. Our king forbids us to sing and dance.
Wait. Where dwells this monster of a king whose people may not dance and sing?
In yonder castle, but none can reach him.
Trust in me, my honored friend. I'll bring your sadness to an end. Hello.
Hello. Who are you? What are you doing here?
Just a sailor, come a-visiting. Why are you sad?
I'm not sad.
Oh, yes, you are.
I am not.
You are so.
Not.
Yes, you are.
I'm lonesome.
Well, you deserve to be lonesome. Lonesome's too good for you. passing a law like that, not letting people sing and dance? Aren't you ashamed of yourself?
I had her.
What do you mean you had her?
Well, a king's gotta do everything his subjects do, see? Only better. Well, I can't sing and I can't dance, so there had to be a law. I had her.
Ah, you can so sing and dance. Anybody can. Well, not anybody that's cranky and gloomy and grumpy, but anybody whose heart is big and warm and happy, they can. Go on, try it. Just for a minute, try being happy.
If you worry, if you bother your head.
I do.
It won't help you, it will hurt you instead.
It will?
Grouchers, groaners, cranks, and moaners, they're so unfair.
I know.
If you can't be gay and merry, lock yourself in solitary. Though it hurt you, be a pleasanter guy. You may even learn to like it if you give it a try.
I'll try.
You could laugh and sing and dance as gaily as an elf, but don't expect to get much help if you don't help yourself. Will you try?
If you show me.
I'll show you.
I'll try.
Good. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
La 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 la.
La 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 la.
You see?
It's easy.
And that's how I got my medal.
Okay, Jonathan.
Great number.
Now you've seen that one before.
I have seen that one before. I mean, that's the classic one that they showed definitely from this movie a lot, and I love that. I love Gene Kelly. I love watching him dance.
I see that Elizabeth in the chat room is saying it wouldn't have been the same with Mickey.
No, it wouldn't have been. It really wouldn't have been. I mean, I'm weirded out a little bit that Jerry talks in it because Jerry never talks in the cartoons, in the Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Oh, I don't know the cartoons.
Well, I grew up watching them.
Okay,
right?
I believe you.
And neither Tom nor Tom maybe talked a little bit, but Jerry never spoke. So to hear him speak is a little off-putting for me. But I mean, for what it was in the movie, that's just Gene Kelly watching him dance. It really He's, like to kind of go back to Michael Jackson and the X Factor. I mean, what Michael Jackson was to pop music, Gene Kelly was to dance. He made it look so effortless, but only a minute amount of people could actually do what he does or did.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the movie goes on, and there's only one more number I want to show, and it's a short one, but I think it's worthwhile. I think it's worthy because it's the song "I Fall in Love Too Easily," and it was it actually was nominated for Best Song, Words and Music by Sammy Cahn and Jule Styne, and it was sung by Frank Sinatra. It's only a couple of minutes. The two guys are trying desperately to get to Hosea Turby, so that he'll see Catherine Grayson. He'll see Aunt Susie for an audition, and they just keep missing him. They can't quite get there, and so Clarence is just beside himself. And at this point, he had already met Brooklyn, the girl waitress from Brooklyn, and he already knows that he really digs the waitress.
Right.
But he doesn't want to. Joe has gone to so much trouble
to make
for
it
him.
work. Yeah.
He doesn't want to tell him that I'm going for this other girl now, Joe. And Joe at this point has already started to fall in love with
Catherine,
Susie.
yeah.
But he doesn't want to, kind of undo his thing with his friend. He wants to stay loyal to his friend.
Yep.
So here it is, where they just miss Hosea Turby. It's Frank Sinatra, a young Frank Sinatra, singing I Fall in Love Too Easily. And this will be the last number we show here from Anchors Aweigh.
Okay, I'll go. Joe,
I'll tell her. It's up to me to do it, not you.
No, look. I'll go out to the studio and tell her it's all a phony. She'll be good and sore, but at me, right? I'll tell her how I pulled you into it and how it all happened just because you're crazy about her.
Oh, what's the use, Joe? We're due back in San Diego tomorrow, and our leave is practically up.
What difference does that make? Susan's not a girl just for a leave. Well, she's the kind you come home to. And... Well, this'll do it.
Joe.
Yeah?
There's something I've been... Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay.
Well, I'll meet you at that little bar near Susie's house about 6. That way I can tell you how she took it. Unless you want to come with me. You just gonna sit here?
Yeah, I'm tired.
I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too fast. I fall in love too terribly hard for love to ever last. My heart should be well schooled, 'cause I've been fooled in the past, and still I fall in love too easily. I fall in love too
That's when it hit him that he really does love the girl from Brooklyn, and he runs after her. And anyway, they all live happily ever after. Anyway, it's a great movie. Anchors Aweigh, Gene Kelly, a young Frank Sinatra there. Sounds pure, sounds great.
Yeah, he does. He's very smooth.
So, I'd recommend you go out there and check it out. Anchors Aweigh, 1945. That's going to wrap it up with the Classic Film Zone. I hope you enjoyed that. And as always, we're going to end every show with my favorite segment, Always Chasing Rainbows. You know, when you talk about Judy Garland's career, you talk about her life and all her moments, it's impossible to overlook those years where she did the Mickey Rooney movies.
Right.
1937, when she did Love Finds Andy Hardy, and she played little Betsy Booth all the way up through the mid 40s. And one of my favorites was one of the backyard musicals directed by Busby Berkeley, and it was the fourth one, 4 out of 4, called Girl Crazy in 1943. And this is an interesting movie where, you know, Mickey Rooney gets sent out to the desert and to a college that's supposed to be all boys so that he can't get in trouble. He's like this millionaire's son in New York, and he can't get in trouble. He's girl crazy. So his father sends him away to like Cody, Wyoming or something like that, to this all-boys college. And wouldn't you know it, lo and behold, he meets the one girl that delivers the mail, and it's Judy Garland. And, you know, here we go. It's Mickey and Judy. And anyway, he can't take it out there with all these cowboys and stuff. He's a city boy, and he says, I'm leaving. I'm going back to New York. And so she's going to drive him in the mail car. It's an old jalopy, and she's going to drive him to the train station, and she thinks he's just a quitter. And this number here, it's kind of a happy number, you know. It's called Could You Use Me? But this to me is classic Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney, really at the top of their game. So let's check it out. Could You Use Me? 1943, Girl Crazy, Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney.
Nice day, isn't it? Nice day yesterday. What do you think the chances are for tomorrow? Say, you by any chance aren't related to Harpo Marx, are you?
There's something I have to tell you, and if I don't tell you, I'm going to hate myself.
I'll bet you'd be the only one.
You are the most precocious, overconfident, spoiled young man I've ever had the misfortune to meet.
I think you're cute, too.
And as an added attraction, you're a quitter. Well, you've been eating strawberry ice cream with a silver spoon in a nice fat college for such a long time that the minute you get out here amongst plain people, you run for cover.
Now, wait a minute. Now it's my turn. Did anyone ever tell you that you've got a face like a 2-week vacation? With pay? Did anyone ever tell you that you've got a nose cute enough to write a song about? Did anyone ever tell you that when a girl like you starts talking about a fella like me, it means only one thing, that you're falling madly in love with him? Did anyone ever tell you that a fella in my state of mind is apt to kiss a girl in your state of mind?
I dare you.
You what?
I double dare you.
Double?
You did it.
I did? Why, it's funny. I didn't even notice. Some pity on an Easterner, show a little sympathy. No one possibly could be sterner than you have been with me. Oh, there's a job that I'm applying for. Let me put it to you thus. It's a partnership I'm dying for, Mr. and Mrs. Us. Now before you file it on the shelf, let me tell you of myself. Oh, I'm the chappie to make you happy. I'll tie your shoesies and chase your bluesies. Oh, lady, would you? Oh, lady, could you use me? Now I'd shake the mat out and put the cat out. I'd clean the garret and feed the parrot. Oh, lady, would you? Oh, tell me, could you use me? Do you realize what a good man you're getting in me? I'm no Elker Mason or Woodman who gets home at 3. the girls who see me grow soft and dreamy, but I'm a gander who won't philander. Oh, could you use me? 'Cause I certainly could use you.
There's a chap I know in Mexico who's as strong as he can be, eating nails and drinking Texaco. He is the type for me. There is one in California, more romantic far than you. When he sings Hot Shot, Shot Shornia, I often think he'll do. But as for you, sir, I'm afraid you will never make the grade. For you're no cowboy, you're soft and how, boy, I feel no muscle that's fit for tussle. I must refuse you, I cannot use you, excuse me. No nightlife for you, the birds would bore you, the cows won't know you, a horse would throw you, you silly man, you, to ask me, can you use me? Though at love you may be a wizard, I'm wanting to know, could you warm me up in a blizzard, say 40 below? Your ties are freakish, your knees are weakish, you're not a sender, you elbow bender, though you can use me. I most certainly can't use you.
Well, there it was. Great Judy moment there, but that brings us to a close. Did you like that one, Jonathan?
I did enjoy that. I enjoyed Judy. Her, like you, to Frank Sinatra's young voice, I love Judy's voice. It's just smooth.
Yeah, and that
like
was
butter.
about 2 years before the Anchors Aweigh movie. That
Okay.
was 45. This was 43. Judy right there would be 21 years old. Mickey would be 23 years old in that shot.
And probably drunk.
Who,
Probably.
Mickey?
Yeah, probably.
Well, perhaps. You know,
Just
maybe.
saying.
All right.
I love Mickey, but he probably was.
Okay, but I'm not going to argue with that. I guess he could be, but you know, I dig Mickey Rooney.
I do too, and I dig a drink. So, who am I to judge?
So, in any case, that brings us to a close of another show, and thank you all for your support on Shop NBC this week. It was great, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Chillin' with Larry Megan. So, just remember, you know, keep following your dreams, pursue your goals, keep chasing those rainbows. Until next time, I'm Larry Megan. Peace, love, and all good things.
Chillin' with Larry Megan.